I would believe that all of you will share this sentiment with me. That when films have a lot riding on them in terms of the budget, the star cast, just the general hype around it, and it's exposed that they paid very little attention to the script, the story, and for this to be a holistically entertaining experience, that you genuinely feel bummed out. It's a mix of anger and frustration of where the focus of most filmmakers lies, how forgettable the ventures are, and how it's also representative of the state of commercial Hindi cinema. Hollow essentially, and merely a celebration of frills, star cameos, memes, and pop culture throwaway jokes, and you step out of it much like the break you take after scrolling on reels. There's nothing really impactful, neither was it wildly entertaining, and you reflect and it was just time passed rather than something that you will speak about with your friends. This breaks my heart as it's about an industry I love, and it makes me wonder, as the films do considerably well financially, whether the makers believe this is exactly what the audience deserves. And as I felt dejected of what transpired with both the films from Hindi cinema despite them doing well, I was reminded by all of you that there is still hope with the releases that came out in the same weekend. That while most of commercial cinema just seemed like cash grabs boasting of box office openings, that there is still an effort to create a marriage between content and commerce in other industries. Through this video, I want to speak about 3 movies, one available on Netflix and the other 2 running in theaters, which restored my faith in cinema and the art form. 3 movies that I would urge you to watch, and if you have, please write down your thoughts in the comments below of the films as well. Meiyazhagan. My resident Tamil translator Ritu told me, for the naughty noob that I am, this might just do. It's best I probably pronounce it Meiyazhagan. It's the way because the rolled R twang is something that I have to get used to. I understand that it's Tamil and not Tamil, and the same applies for this word, but I assure you I'm just learning. With the constant tussle with Tamil cinema and the national chains regarding their window of when they release on streaming platforms, it has led to me missing several Tamil films on the big screen. But as I finally came to watching the Arvind Swamy and Karthi starrer Meiyazhagan, I couldn't help myself oscillate between 2 contrasting emotions of either helplessly weeping or having a silly smile across my face. The film focusing on Arul, played by Arvind Swamy, who visits his hometown after 22 years for his sister's wedding after having left the town in 1996 due to a property dispute with his family, is achingly beautiful. It breaks my heart upon knowing that close to 15 to 20 minutes of this film was actually chopped down because of audience feedback of there being a lag in the storytelling. Not only are those lucky who saw the unedited version on the big screen, but it's so sad to see how artistic expression is to be compromised these days because it has to accommodate to a short attention span of the audience of today. The interesting friendship that builds between Arul and the character played by Karthi is of hesitance, confusion, annoyance, and of pure joy and abandon. The film is a trip down memory lane for Arul, of conflicting feelings, of a land and his people that he dearly loves but also has a resentment towards. It essentially becomes an assortment of moments that we take for granted the most today. Human interaction, of memories, of anecdotes, of nostalgia, of a time that just seems distant and unfamiliar. I couldn't help myself but be transfixed at how C. Premkumar, through his writing, could say so much without really diving deep on the context of these relationships shared between the characters. Arul would meet his uncle, his eyes would well up, and that would be enough. A friend of the opposite sex would see him with such admiration, her eyes play out so much of the hypothetical life they could have lived, and it's not written, but just in the way the characters look at each other, it's implied. Or something is just communicated through a physical gesture of like a simple brush on the shoulders. It's just enough for you to get overwhelmed with emotions because all of it is universal, of the family you revisit, of the girl or guy that got away. It all becomes overwhelming for Arul, especially conveyed through a beautiful sequence shared with his sister. Those who you hold dear and see very little of, you just want to prolong the moment shared with them as long as you can, savor it. And Meiyazhagan truly becomes a beautiful tale of human relationships, the egos at play, and shedding that arrogance once and for all, only to reflect on what you let go of for such a large portion of your life. Karthi is the optimist in this cynical world that is tough to come by, and the interactions with Arvind Swamy extract such silly yet tender moments. A ride on a bike, a sweet tea, a chilled beer, a friendly bull, a life altering bike, all of these are mediums through which they get closer, culminating beautifully in the end to become a tale you must really watch on Netflix. The last time Hindi cinema did a beautiful and organic tale like this on human relationships was Lunchbox. And trust me, you won't regret it in the slightest. Lucky Baskhar. You know, I am a huge admirer of Dulquer Salmaan. While his creative choices recently in Malayalam cinema have not really struck a chord with audiences, with Kurup and Salute and King of Kotha absolutely breaking my heart, but it is his choices in Telugu cinema that really intrigue me. First with Sita Ramam and now with Lucky Baskhar, Dulquer and director Vicky Atluri truly hit it out of the park in a genre that is very tricky to pull off in the running time of a feature film. I can't rave enough about the efficient and slick manner in which the film has been edited, and more importantly, how a complex money laundering racket is not dumbed down for the audience. You have to realize that Scam 1992, the web series, had over 10 episodes to expand on the system Harshad Mehta was circumventing in the early 90s in Bombay. But Lucky Baskhar very smartly executes the same in a 2-hour and 30-minute running time. The film focuses on a simple cashier, Baskhar played by Dulquer Salmaan, who aspires to go up the ranks in his bank, only to be dealt the short end of the stick to continue living his life of mediocrity and debt. When the common man is pushed and shoved consistently, they often have a moment where they run wild. When Baskhar sniffs blood, when he finally begins to become a rogue in a system he was a slave to, will he ever stop again? That is the wild ride that is Lucky Baskhar, set in Bombay during the time Harshad Mehta and his influence in Dalal Street was known to everyone. I must first comment on the beautiful production design of the film that immediately transports you to the late 80s and 90s of Bombay. What helps the film is that it primarily showcases south of Bombay, specifically Colaba, that much like Kolkata has preserved the old architecture. So with minimal set development, you genuinely feel like Lucky Baskhar is a portal to the chaos of 90s Bombay. I absolutely became a fan of the cheeky nature in which the storytelling is done. Dulquer breaking the fourth wall consistently. Every time he bamboozles someone, or very clearly put, screws over someone, he has this mischievous smile that you can't help but be entertained by how he is getting away with crime. You understand that it's bad, you acknowledge he is an anti-hero, but it's so bloody entertaining. You know who is also a huge contributing factor to the magic of Lucky Baskhar? It is the music provided by G.V. Prakash Kumar, who has this retro energy to the soundtrack that absolutely fits the theme and vibe of this perfectly tight-knit thriller. Never in the slightest do you feel an overwhelming information dump with financial terms. It's so slick in its presentation that you genuinely get curious about how he's going to get away with this, as he gets more obsessed with the opulence, wealth, and more importantly, respect that he gets over the course of the film. That's what makes the film universal despite its niche topic. It's basic decency and respect that everyone deserves. And when someone is pushed to the limit, what does the common man do? Acknowledge his place and abide by the system that internally is breaking him day by day? Or does it unlock something to the point of no return? We've all been there when so many curveballs are flung our way and we are faced by this dichotomy. That's what makes Lucky Baskhar special, and in some way makes you root for him to get away with it too. Almost like you're in on the inside joke or secret with him as he breaks the fourth wall and makes eye contact with you and gives you that cheeky smile. The trickiest part about a film like this is how it ends. And I can't tell you how perfectly they shaped this film from start to end, making me genuinely give out a PSA to all of you. It's such a smart film that will not bore you at all and is totally worth the ticket price in theaters. Amaran. This is a movie that worked in so many ways for me. By the way, just on a side note through my Tamil friends, when they tell me about Sivakarthikeyan's personal journey, I can't help but be in awe of where he has reached. It is the outsider to superstardom story that deserves so much more attention on a national scale. As he collaborated with Rajkumar Swamy to present the story of Major Mukund Vardarajan, I was keen on seeing the presentation of his time in the army, his personal life, and his time in Kashmir. In many ways, the beautiful interpersonal relationship and his bravery with the armed forces reminded me of how brilliantly Hindi cinema presented Vikram Batra's story through Sher Shah. Amaran, however, is a testament to not only technically brilliant filmmaking but also nuanced storytelling that puts something as convoluted as Kashmir and its socio-political evolution in the forefront, not shying away from it at all while dealing with the army and its necessary involvement in the elimination of terrorists. First of all, it was so brilliant to see this film on the big screen, the cinematography by C.H. Sai, and the undeniable fact of how effective action can be if done in real locations and actually performed by the actors themselves. Sivakarthikeyan fits the part physically and in spirit. What becomes the core of the film is not only his organic leadership and influence in tactical combat, but the level of respect, admiration, and boundless love he shares with his wife, Indu Rebecca Varghese, played by Sai Pallavi. It's truly love that in several instances makes you feel like it's too good to be true. Such loyalty, such a ride-or-die attitude is one of the main reasons love like this should be immortalized in stories on the big screen. While I am not familiar with the intonations of Malayalam that can be jarring to some, I hear that many people are complaining about Sai Pallavi's dialogue delivery with fluent Malayalam and broken Tamil. Apparently, this made the interactions with the characters difficult to fully get behind, for especially those who are well versed in both languages. Please let me know in the comments below whether this was true for you or not. But I must say, when you look at Sai Pallavi in this film, and the pride with which she sees her husband march on with his batchmates, or just her reactions at him surprising her after months, you can't help but empathize with the life that comes with being a spouse of someone serving in the armed forces for the country. The long distance relationship and the unpredictability that comes with such a life, hoping and praying that you never get that call of that horrifying news. It's truly a testament of how much you can endure for love. And they really embody this relationship beautifully in the film. I was in awe of the action choreography in this film. Again, G.V. Prakash Kumar absolutely kills it in this film. I kid you not, you will be on the edge of your seats as the army conducts ambush missions surrounding the dreaded terrorists in a nail-biting interval sequence, actually coming across as filmmakers finally doing the research of what goes behind these carefully crafted and planned missions. I loved the supporting cast of the film. Truly an amalgamation of languages and states that include the likes of Rahul Bose and Bhuvan Arora. The camera work is exceptional, seamlessly transitioning from an army vehicle to the guerrilla warfare conducted by the terrorists. The film exceptionally builds on motive as well, of what drives the young and easily influenced to become terrorists, and what essentially drives these rogue elements to make someone as decorated and brave like Mukund Vardarajan a prime target. The film is also a beautiful representation of the army and what India represents, united despite various faiths, languages and cultures that they come from. I was inspired, I was on the edge of my seat, I was relieved on the attention to detail, I was in awe of Sivakarthikeyan's dedication to the role, and I am so glad that it is being celebrated in the state of Tamil Nadu, an inspiring yet bittersweet tale of one of our heroes that you should definitely see on the big screen. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about these three movies if you've seen them, of course. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.